long-term goal is to tour again, like a full North American tour with an album, like properly, like I want to put a lot of time into it, right?
Are you working on it right now?
I am.
Today I got to sit down with Thuy, the pop and R&B vocalist who's had an insane 2 years full of sold-out shows, festivals around the world, viral TikTok moments, and most recently she's released her latest EP, Don't Miss Me Too Much. We spoke about her rise, her process, and what she's planning next.
How are you?
So good.
Congratulations on the EP release.
Thank you. This was so spontaneous. We made like the first song and I was like, you know what? We're going to put out a small little project, just an interim little thing while they wait, you know?
And did you feel like it was like, oh no, I want to do it on my birthday?
I think it's like, maybe it's like the narcissist where it's like, okay, it's my birthday, I'm gonna make it about me, you know what I mean? But also, I don't think it was really that. I'm being so unserious right now. But I think every year, I always release something like on my birthday or like in the fall.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It's a good vibe. It's like a lot of, the fall is when, you know, the transition into winter and there's a lot of emotions going on.
Yes.
The moon is mooning. The sun is sunning.
You know what? Yes. Yes to all of that. No, but honestly, like, I feel like the whole year kind of goes by and you're just like, I just want to give people something, you know? And even though did I release Girls Like Me Don't Cry this year or last year? I think it was last year.
It was last year.
It was last year. So I think like just like I never want to keep them just like waiting, you know? And everyone's always like, you still could work Girls Like Me Don't Cry. I'm like, yeah, I could still work it, but like I can still put out new music too, you know?
Have another offering.
Exactly.
The new EP, Don't Miss Me Too Much.
Yes.
It was funny when you announced it. I love the cover.
Thank you.
Nice
Shout out
color,
Edgar.
nice color palette. Your visuals are always very like, they seem very intentional with the mood and the vibe of the music.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I was like listening to the 3 songs, Attention, No Ties, and then the title track, Don't Miss Me Too Much, and
Research. You really did. I'm like, okay, cool.
well, you've had just a crazy year. A pivotal moment for me in your career on the sideline was when I saw your release party for I Hope You See This, and it reminds me of just a person, an artist who's really finding their way in a real way where it's very authentic to you and you found your own lane. And now seeing Girls Like Me Don't Cry and then Don't Miss Me Too Much, you really locked in who Thuy is and what the sound is.
Thank you. I'm really like, I feel like I'm peeling back the layers of who Thuy is. And I feel like in real time, people are kind of like experiencing that with me because at the same time, I'm like, Don't Miss Me Too Much is an era where like, I'm confident and like, I'm confident in my womanhood and just like my sexuality and my sensuality, like all of that. I feel like it's happening in real time. It's not like something that I already overcame and then now I'm telling you guys. It's kind of like me telling you guys we're going through this together, you know? And like, just because I'm confident in that moment doesn't mean that I'm not, you know, I have my own insecurities still. It's kind of just like a working thing that I feel like I'm constantly gonna go through.
Yes.
But it also is like the beautiful thing of life and just like learning more about yourself. Because I've learned so much about myself within the last couple years.
For sure.
And I've learned that I'm way stronger than I give myself credit for. And also just like loving myself. Because for a long time I was just like, I just want to hide.
Really?
And like, yes. Like for anyone who knows me, I was like the shyest person. I had like one solo in high school. Like even though I would sing to my friends on the down low, like I wasn't like that loud personality that was like, I'm going to be a star. But in my room, I was like, I'm going to be a star. Like I knew it and I was like going to do everything that I could to make that happen. But on the outside, I didn't want to show it because I didn't want to be too loud because I feared people judging me. Yeah. You know, so yeah, it's all just like a working theme in my life.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see the development over the time. And in the span of 2 years, you've been touring a bunch, doing a bunch of shows. Your live show is incredible.
Thank you.
It's really dialed.
We're dialing it more because I'm just like, that's my...
Are there new pieces being added or is it
Yes.
just, oh, what?
Just
like what?
I want to like have set design. I want to like have like lighting and like dancers and like all of that. Like, cause when I grew up like watching Britney Spears, she had all of that. She's like a show, you know what I mean? And like the thing is, I'm independent, so it's like I'm ambitious, but also I have to do it step by step and not like live outside of my means in a sense, you know? But I'm also just like, can I cuss on this, by the way? I'm also the type of person that's like, fuck it. And I'm just willing to like put everything back into the music and like everything back into trying to be the best entertainer that I could possibly be.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's probably one of the like biggest challenges that I've ever experienced in my entire life. And they say like, I don't know, being a musician is really hard,
bro,
you know, because it's like, I'm an athlete, y'all. I'm actually not, but like, I do feel like I live, breathe this.
Yeah.
Like every day.
You have to.
Like I'm thinking about this 24/7.
Yeah.
You don't turn it off, you know?
No.
And maybe you have like a character that you like tap into when you do your shows. I mean, definitely, I'm not who I am on stage as I am like in regular life, but I will say that like, because I'm independent, I'm thinking about it every second of the day. Like, how can I work this music? How can I be better than I was yesterday? Yeah. How can I really make a splash and like just further my narrative, you know? So it's just like I think about it all the time. Sometimes it stresses me out.
It's funny. I feel like we're plagued by it, by thinking about it all the time.
Yeah.
We were traveling, I was traveling with Pila recently, and it's funny, like anytime I'm in a place, we were in New York, and there was this beautiful rooftop, and my mind instantly goes like, oh, this would be fire for a music video, right?
Same.
Which is crazy. It's like you can't just chill.
You can't just chill. Like even something that is enjoyable as like TikTok, I'm scrolling and like I'll be watching like people cook or like dog videos, and then I'll come across like a music one, and I'm like, that's a really good idea. Fuck. Okay. Like then it kind of makes you like get into work mode again.
Yeah.
So it's just like a lot of things in life that it's hard to separate. It's hard to separate like your real life and your music life. Because you're just constantly inspired by your real life. So then you're like, how, you know, so I'll just jot down a bunch of notes all the time. Will I go back to it later? Who knows?
And maybe when the time is right.
Yeah, when the time's right. And it's always like, wait, what did I say that one time? And then I'll have a list of like ideas. So that always helps, but it's like, you really never turn it off.
Well, and I think as I've been getting older, I've tried to look at life in a more like half glass full and positive light. So when I hear you, the keyword inspired, so I just think some people like you channel inspiration on a higher frequency than other people. And even though it might be like overwhelming, it's a beautiful thing because you're able to see something that everyone else sees, and then you have 100 ideas about it.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. And that is a segue. How do you, listening to the new EP, it feels like you've been touring a lot, and you're making music in a way that when I heard the title track, it gave me K-Tronada vibes.
Yep.
And it was very like, oh, this will go up live.
Yeah. It's
and
so
how
much fun.
How does touring affect, or does it dictate what you're making in the studio?
I think not in the beginning.
Okay.
Because like when I'm in there in the studio and I'm just like, I just want to make the best song I possibly can. And then once you like actually record it, then you're like, whoa, this is going to be really fun to perform live, you know? So there are certain songs where like you'll instantly get that feeling. And with Don't Miss Me Too Much, we're like, oh yeah, this is going to go down in like Amsterdam or like Europe, you know? So that was really cool to just like finish up Europe, but also preview the song there. And they were like already singing the lyrics.
Oh yeah.
Like that was so cool for me because it is a little bit in a different lane than I normally do, especially after hearing like Girls Like Me Don't Cry, which is very pop forward. Then to do something like this where it's kind of more dark and edgy and like, you know, it does have inspiration from like house music.
Yeah.
And that's nothing I've ever done before. So I feel like to do that in Amsterdam was really cool, but also just to like try it was really cool. And to see that like, just to kind of merge the different genres and everything. Cause right now I feel like I'm at like an experimental era.
Do you like, is that because of you've been traveling so much and you've just been seeing and soaking up different vibes from around the world?
I think it's just like sometimes you hear the same music you make, and because the music I make, yes, I listen to it like a lot of times before it's released, but once it's released, I don't really like to hear it anymore.
Yeah.
Like the music that I listen to isn't the music I like to make. So then when I listen to the music that I don't make, I'm like, man, I would love to make something like that, right? So I think that like that's always inspired me, but I kind of want to make it my own still, you know?
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks to how you've developed your sound over these past couple projects, because it's bringing these different sounds and energies into your world that you've created over the past couple of years, which is that artistic integrity that you've built.
For sure.
Really nice.
It was scary.
Was
I was
it?
like, are people going to like this? Or, because the thing is with me is like, the way that I know that a song is going to do well or like people are going to like it is if like I feel something when I'm making it in terms of like, did I cry? Did I, you know? So it could be a bop, but if I cried, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the one.
It has to evoke. It has to pluck some type of chord for you.
Yes, like I need to like be emotionally attached to it. I don't care if it's a sad song. I don't care if it's like something that's super hype, you know?
Yeah.
Like if it makes me cry, I'm like, oh yeah, people are gonna love this.
This is it.
And it's like, sometimes I feel like things move really fast in my life where it's like I've conceptualized the fact that I want to release an EP and then all of a sudden a couple months later it's out. And then sometimes I feel like I'm kind of racing against the clock, like, okay, this is the deadline.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me sometimes, but also I think that's a good part because then I'm not like stuck on, do I want to release this? Do I not want to?
Go.
I kind of run on that enthusiastic feeling that I had when I made it. Gotcha. And I feel like that energy has always translated really positively for me because when I release music that I'm enthusiastic about, I feel like people feel that energy and they're like, okay, she's really excited about this. Let me check it out. And I feel like that's kind of been the ongoing theme for like all of my projects is like I don't wait too long to release it. If I love it, I'm going to figure out a plan to make it work and like release it and like get everything as planned as I can, but also just running off that excitement because I think when you wait too long and you hold things back for too long,
it gets stale.
And then maybe you don't want to release it and then all of a sudden it's like then you weren't being consistent, you know?
Yeah.
And then you're expecting like this big splash on one thing when you haven't released something in years, right?
Yeah.
So I think if I love something, I'm like, how can I release this like ASAP without jeopardizing my chances of like it doing well, you know? Because sometimes maybe you didn't give it the right promotion or you didn't, you know, give the best.
Well, I think your audience and you come off on whether it be social media or live performances when you're really excited about something, it comes off.
Yeah.
And people could feel that energy.
Yeah, because I can't fake it.
Nah.
I cannot fake it.
And you wouldn't want to either.
Exactly, because I'm like, I want this to be something I love forever, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, if I'm releasing music and I don't love it, it's not going to do well. It's not going to do well.
Yeah.
I don't think
Because you're not going to do well.
I'm not
promoting it.
Exactly. I'm just going to be like, well, here you go, right? Versus I love this. Like the visuals for Don't Miss Me Too Much are insane. Like it's so fucking good. And it's
it
just
comes
like,
out what, the 3rd?
Comes out tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And it's something that people have never seen me in this light.
Fire.
Like never.
What era is this?
This is the Thuy in her like sex. You know what? People compare it to like the Britney Spears Slave for You, Christina Aguilera, Dirty era.
You're taking it there.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I never felt like I could be sexy growing up. Like I always felt like I had to hide, especially in front of my parents. Like that was always just like a cringe feeling if I were like to be like, obviously you don't want to be sexy in front of your parents anyways, right? But I never felt like I could wear skirts around them or like, you know what I mean? And now I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. No, well, the thing is you're going so crazy right now that it's like, bro, like your taste level of what you want to do is the hot thing to do.
I feel like the right thing to do is just what you believe. And if you're going to do it 100%, like commit to it because don't half-ass shit, you know? And that goes with everything in life. I think I go like 120% into anything I care about. And sometimes I lose sleep over it and I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. I actually am fucking tired, by the way. But I can't stand still either.
Yeah.
There's times for that, don't get me wrong. Like, I definitely have my mental health days and just like, please nobody text me. But for the most part, it's like go, go, go always, because I just have like such big dreams for myself.
I know that in the past 2 to 3 years, your star has just rocketed out of here, right? However, you've been at this for a long time.
Long time. Y'all know, hands on me. First song ever on SoundCloud.
Because we were talking about how you have records with Tracks a Million, R.I.P.
Oh my God, R.I.P. Tracks.
Gully.
Nicest guy. Yep, Gully. Mm-hmm.
You know, so for anyone to say that this is like an overnight thing or anything like that, and I think it just speaks to the conviction and confidence you have in yourself that you were talking about, and especially in just the artistic integrity. It's like that develops over time.
It does. It's not an overnight thing. And you fake it till you make it. Like, the amount of times that people have asked me, like, how are you so confident? I'm actually not. Like, I'm really, really shy until as of recently. Like, but it's over time, when you fake it till you make it every single time, you get to a point in your life where you're like, wait, I actually am the person that I was faking this entire time. And it's not faking who you are, it's faking the confidence to push through the fear to do something you really want to do.
Yeah.
So that's like,
it's like
that's
almost
why,
tricking yourself into like, that's not scary. The thing that
not.
I think that I built up to be scary,
yeah,
it's not.
The quote that I used to live by for a really long time, I still do to this day: on the other side of fear is freedom. And I love that quote because it's helped me to put myself in front of the camera.
Fire.
Like at the beginning of the pandemic, when I was like, oh shit, the entire world is shut down. What do I do now, right?
Yeah.
TikTok was like one of the biggest things. So I was like, damn, but I'm kind of like nervous to be cringy on the camera or like be in front of the camera. My friends are going to judge me. My high school friends are going to judge me. And then I was like, okay, you just have to do the things that scare you. And I started saying yes to things like performing in front of people, like saying yes, even though I was scared shitless. Like I didn't want to do it, but I also was like, this is going to get you to where you want to get to. And then all the times I said yes just eventually added up to like the confidence. Like it just gave me so much confidence over time.
Did that confidence play into, because I was going through your catalog in the past week, just like all the way back.
I sound so different, I feel like.
Yeah, well, I think you just, something that when I work with artists, I tell them is that your vocal performance is so important, and that ties in with your conviction and what you like. Do you believe what you're saying?
Exactly.
You know, and when I'm hearing no ties,
ties.
When I hear that, I'm like, oh yeah, she's so in her bag right now.
Do you hear the ad-lib? Send it right back home. Or like I was like, it was so funny because I did that one, like it was just a one-time thing, but I couldn't do it again. Like it was like one of those things. I was just like, yo, punch me in real quick, and then I just did it, and everybody went crazy, and it was just so off timing, but it was still cool. Yeah. Like it was still in pocket. But yeah, I'm really, thank you for saying that, because I really feel like this project, it's like the conviction is there, and I don't know, it's just the way that I'm saying things is totally different. And you can hear, like, it's if you're really listening.
No, for sure.
You know, so it's for the people who like maybe have kept up with me for a really long time, or have been OG fans, or been there from the beginning. You can hear the difference, because it really is different being like a recording artist than it is being a live performer. Like,
so different.
You could be the best live performer singer, and then when it comes to recording, it's so different.
Because then there's a lot of people that get into the studio and they're reaching for something blind, and hoping that they find it. Where you got all the lights on, you're in your closet, and you're like, what am I gonna wear today? Oh yeah, nah, this turquoise color, because it's, you know,
what
it
is? It's like, I believe in myself. So like, it's like people would say you're delusional, but I do feel like delusion has helped me a lot, because I also just like anything that I do, I know instantly. Like nobody can tell me shit where it's like, I mean, obviously, like your friends, like if you really aren't going to make the best decision, like, hey, you shouldn't do this because so-and-so, like I'm going to listen, you know, and maybe like change up shit. But like when it comes to artwork, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's telling you, I like this one, but if I love this one, you can't tell me shit. Like when I know what I want, that's it, you know?
And I think that just speaks to your taste level, though. And I think that gets developed over time and figuring out what works, what doesn't work, what you like, and how you feel on these covers, you know? Because not everyone's going to see it through your lens.
For sure. But also just, like, I could look back at my own TikTok videos. I'm like, ugh, how did I do that, you know? But at the time, I was like, this is the one.
This
like,
is going crazy.
I look great. I'm not cringe at all. And now I look back and I'm like, ugh, why'd you do that? Like, why do you look like that, right? But it's just a journey.
It is a journey.
But like you said, like, it gets developed over time.
For sure. I mean, think about if you saw pictures of yourself in high school.
Oh, yeah, no. It's
like,
over.
You know, it's like the sauce develops, your taste level and all that. Speaking of the developing of the sound, Vapor Rub, when I was going through each one and just trying to, like, get a feel for when the flip was switched.
Yeah.
Or the switch was flipped.
Wait, that's crazy that you said Vapor Rub. Okay, but what is your reasoning?
Well, so I'm listening to all of them, and you're from the Bay Area. From Newark, California, by way of Stockton. Early.
This guy really did his fucking research. I love it.
Yeah.
We love a prepared podcaster, interviewer.
I don't want to say podcaster.
I know.
I feel like there's a weird connotation.
Really?
I like to think that I'm like a Zane Lowe. That's the position.
Whoa. Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
I just saw your vision. I just saw your future right now as I looked at you. Yeah.
Fire. I love that.
Yeah. I think it's the beard.
It might be.
It's just
and the bald head.
It's so convincing. It's like, should I shave
in my
head
beard.
And like, I don't know, put on a.
Now that you have the shirt, you can be me for Halloween next year. Yes. Okay, cool. We got it.
He got me a shirt, by the way, guys.
we'll do the picture.
Honestly,
right
that's
here.
such a cool fucking shirt. But anyways, what were we saying?
So Vapor Rub.
Yes.
When I was going through your catalog and I was listening to it, I wanted to, and I was going back to you being from the Bay. We're both from the Bay. There was a time in 2012 to 2015, 2016, where there was a sound that was really popular, and everyone in the region they felt as if they needed to make this kind of sound. And the sound I'm talking about is the DJ Mustard, R&B bass, very like, yo, it needs to go off in the club. And also just the age that we were at. It made sense, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna make these kind of songs. Yeah. And so I'm going through all your songs, and then I go to Vapor Up, and I'm like, oh no, something happened here. Because there was a freedom of this idea that I have to conform to all these things that are going around me or the things that are getting love and attention. And you're like, nah, I'm gonna actually do what I want to do.
Yeah. That's crazy because Vapor Up was the first song I made where I really felt like I loved it, you know? Like I really felt like I literally felt like there was a path that I could have kept going down, and it like there was a pitchfork. Is it pitchfork? No, fork.
A fork in the road. Yes.
There was a fork in the road in my life where I was like, I could keep making this music, or I can like really make the music I want to make. And I wanted to kind of like start making pop music, right? So then I felt like it was a cool middle ground almost of like still having that like bounce to it, but still like just like shit that I would listen to, you know? Yeah. So I felt like, damn, like finally I made a song that like was really cool. Like that was just, different than anything that I've ever made before. But that's so cool that you said that and you could hear that. Because I just remember telling Charlie, because we wrote that together, and I was like, whoa, I'm so fucking excited about this song.
That's fire.
It was, yeah.
And it's cool that, like, there's certain songs that you make in the studio that, you know, you leave the studio and you're like, you know, well, maybe I had to get that idea off to get to the next idea. And then there's some that when you make it and you hear it.
Like I said, once I know, and it's coming out. Like, I'm just like, but actually, there's been a couple times where I'm like, I want to release this. And Charlie's like, it ain't it. And I'm like, a month later, I'm like, you know what? Thank you for being honest with me, because that song was trash, you know? But yeah, Vapor Up, I knew instantly. I was like, well, like, we really have something. And just the name of it, Vapor Up, like, I said the word once, you know?
But it sticks out. It's different.
But it is. And that's what I wanted to do. And I feel like that's kind of what I've been doing with, like, a lot of my songs. Obviously, when, like, Chances, it's like, I say Chances so much, it has to be called Chances, or, like, In My Bag, like, you know? But there's other things where anytime that I can not name it something that's in the hook,
Yeah.
but still makes sense, then I will. But that was the first time I ever did that, where I was like, well, I'm so creative, you know? But no, but like, yeah, I just, God, that's such a like core memory for me, because yeah, I really did feel like, oh shit, I'm finally like making some good shit, you know?
That's fire.
And then I just kept going.
Kept developing.
Yeah.
And then so, okay, Vapor Rub, you start kind of getting in your bag, no pun intended. But then pandemic happens. Everyone's going through hella crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But it seems like you like just turned all the way up. Like this thing was happening to the world, and you were like, let me just go up.
Yeah.
What happened?
So like, I don't know if you know this about me, but I used to like competitively wrestle in high school.
We're getting to that.
So I've always had like great mental toughness. And I think that I owe a lot of my success to wrestling, because it's taught me to be really mentally tough. That's my dog, by the way.
Shout out
Oliver. He's my love. But I have this idea of, well, my coach used to say, never give up. Even when you think you're losing, never give up, right? So during the pandemic, and I was already kind of starting to like gain a little bit of traction.
There was bubbling, for sure.
It was definitely bubbling. And then when it happened, I was like, damn, what am I going to do? Like, we can't go to shows. We can't do showcases. We can't be outside and like do all that, right?
Yeah.
And my manager, shout out On, she was like, you should get on TikTok. I was like, what the fuck is TikTok, right? She was like, yeah, you should post like once a day. I was like, once a day? I'll do like once a week. She was like, yeah, there's people out there that do like 3 times a day. I was like, that will never be me. Like, I can't imagine myself doing that. But also, it was one of those things that scared me to do. But I finally started doing it. And it was, the way that it started was like talking about like how I songwrite, or like giving them tips on how to like get your music through DistroKid, or like anything, like just kind of giving free game, because I know there's a lot of
free bread.
There was a lot of people out there that want to be musicians or want to put their music out on Spotify, and like I just kind of wanted to give like basic info that I felt like a lot of people should or could learn from, could know or should, whatever. So then I was doing that, and then putting my music behind it, and some of the videos would pop, like it would do kind of good. Then eventually we were like, okay, now that you've gotten used to like posting about just posting in general, right? Like the
because there's a comfort level that you have to get.
Exactly.
You have to like make 100 videos just to even find your voice.
Exactly. So then I was like, okay, how can you start doing TikToks in a way that it's more narrative based, in terms of like, how are you going to get people to listen to your music and care about your music? Because right now people see you as almost like this informational person that's like just giving out tips and tricks on how to like songwrite or write melodies, or like use your voice memo to like, you know, things that like I already knew, but is it going to get me to the level where I'm at right now? And I was like, okay, people aren't really going to like, they don't care about my music, right? They more so care about like, how do I get my song on Spotify or Apple Music?
Yeah.
So I really got to gear this towards it. So then I started thinking about, I think at the time we had, I'm just going to use Chances, because Chances was the first one that really popped off.
Okay.
And so I started doing a bunch of research, like on like different artists that were using TikTok as a platform to promote their music. And then I started seeing like some common things that people would do. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try it, right? But in my way.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they were doing okay. And then I got really obsessed. Really like, I'm going to make this song go viral, right? And then I started jotting down a bunch of ideas on my notes. I had like a long list of like narratives that I could use for Chances. Like, this song is about a toxic ex, or like different things that was relatable in a sense, or I thought was relatable.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it popped. And then instantly I saw like my Spotify spike.
Gotcha.
And then I was like, whoa, I felt like my own puppeteer.
Yeah.
And then it gave me a lot of like confidence. So then I just kept doing it, and then it just kept like snowballing, you know? But TikTok, honestly, I attribute a lot of my early success to that.
Well, I think it helps with visibility too, especially in a time where you weren't able to go outside and present yourself.
Like the amount of people that I was exposed to just from in my living room was crazy. And just like, it was really cool to see how much people related to my music. And then honestly, like, that was how I built a lot of my fan base.
Gotcha.
And then also just like nurturing the older fan bases too.
Yeah.
Like replying to every comment, replying to every message, and working, like, at the time of the pandemic, I was working at a scooter company actually, and I was customer service there.
Oh wow.
So I would work 9 to 5, and then during the shift I would make TikToks, but then after the shift I would go on live and I would do all these things. So I was like, I was really hustling from like morning to night.
Bandwidth.
Yes.
Overdrive.
And people always ask me like, what's the secret? I'm like, you know, because sometimes people are like, you shouldn't have a plan B if you really want to be an artist, right? But I'm like, you should have a plan B. Like, you should have something that can fund what you want to do until you don't need that anymore, you know?
Yeah.
So then I literally just quit my job, like a year and a half ago? Maybe 2?
Wow, really?
Yes. And now I'm finally like doing this full time, but like, I was able to fund so much of like my music videos or like free things I was sending out to fans because of my actual 9 to 5 job.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It definitely helped. It's interesting because speaking of TikTok and nurturing the old fan base, it's cool too because you're now in a place too where your success, your rising success, is now something that they can hold on to and champion and be like, I was there before.
That is cool.
And which is really nice.
Yeah. I think it's all about like, they always call me Chi Hai, which in Vietnamese means like older sister. And I love that I give off that energy.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that like everything that I did in the beginning, even though it was like, you know, I enjoyed it too because I'm all about like actually finding genuine connections with people. Like it actually fulfills me and keeps me alive, I feel like. So when I'm able to have these conversations with fans, quote unquote, where they're like telling me about their lives or like just like they just broke up with their boyfriend or whatever, and I'm like, sis, you don't need him, you know, like all that. Like I feel like that goes a long way. Even though in the time it's not, you're not thinking about that. You're not like, I'm gonna DM this person, because I think that's just who I am. And I'm just the type, like, I like closing the loop with people. I don't like leaving it one-sided.
Gotcha.
It doesn't feel right to me, you know, because I also feel like once you cut off that like human connection, then it's just like, what's the point, you know? Like your music is for people to connect to it. And like I feel like when I'm talking about things that are real and that are my own experiences, people feel like they're getting a snapshot into my actual life. And I think that's why people relate with me so much. Just outside of the fact that I like reply to them and like just let them, I see them.
Simple things, but they go a long way.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think the more I speak to artists about just music creation and then meeting, you know, people at the shows and everything, you've become a vessel for these people and are able to translate their feelings into real words that they can sing.
I feel like I can put it better in songs than I can talk about it. But like, I don't know. It's a crazy feeling because like while I'm making these songs, it's for me. Because I'm not like, this is going to be like something people are going to love. People are, you know, I'm just like, how can I get my thoughts off? How can I get my feelings off? And in turn, when you're being that vulnerable or when you're being that honest, people are just going to relate to it.
It resonates.
They're going to just one person at least.
Yeah, no,
that sure. resonates with it. And
it makes it all
one,
worth it.
it's at least 10 more, you know?
So. I have a funny question.
I love funny questions.
What's more difficult? Army crawls during wrestling practice or touring?
Touring is exhausting, guys. I think the best thing about touring is the fact that you get to connect with people you've never even, in the city you've never even been in, especially like going to Europe and the UK. I've never been out there. I didn't even know people were going to show up. I didn't even know that they would know my lyrics.
All sold out, right?
Yes. Like, that's insane.
It's nuts.
That's insane. Like,
how was that? How was that tour?
It was great. It was one of the most fulfilling things. You know, it was a short hit, but it also was like so much fun because you know, here in the States, everyone knows English at least, right? But like there were some cities where people didn't know English, but they knew my lyrics.
That's fire.
They knew my lyrics and they were screaming it back, and they're so loud. And I don't know why. People say that it's because like not a lot of people come to Europe and UK, so when somebody's out there, they're very like excited and like grateful.
Yeah.
And I could feel that energy, and I'm all about like energy. Like the more you give me, I'm gonna give it back 10 times more. So that's the great part about touring, but also the hard part about touring is like the energy that it takes to go from city to city, living out of your suitcase, not having a routine, not being with your dog, not being around like things that kind of like give you life. So then but then the great part about tour is like, then when you're like lifeless and you're just like, I want to go home, then you meet people and you experience the screams and people screaming back the lyrics to you, and that just like feeds your soul. And you're like, oh, I'm awake again, you know?
Charges
so
your
that's
battery.
like, yeah, it charges my battery. Also, I have a very limited battery. Just like fun fact, there's certain people that just recharge like this. Charlie's one of those people. I'm the type of person that like I have this set battery for the rest of the day. If I give you my all, by 4 p.m. I'm like, I can't say a word to you, you know? So touring is really mentally and physically exhausting on me, and emotionally, everything. It's so taxing, right? But it's fun when, the thing is, my tours are always so much fun because my fans are like so loud. They're loud. Like they scream every lyric, they're unhinged, and they're just like fun to be around.
For sure.
Yeah.
We opened up for you in
The best.
In March of this year, and it was so funny because, you know, we're seeing the show every night, and I remember distinctly in Dallas.
I was gonna bring up Dallas. Dallas is my favorite.
Dallas was so turned.
So fun.
And it was funny because I'm watching the show, your set from the back, me and JR by the merch booth, and I'm just seeing these like, everyone's having a blast, but then I'm seeing like drunk fools in the back turning up like, let's go Thuy. Like, and I'm like, whoa, it's up.
Honestly, I don't know. You know what? Were they Asian?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So here's the thing. Like, I don't know if they were Vietnamese or not, but I can maybe 98% guarantee that they were probably Vietnamese. And I come from a really big Vietnamese family. And anytime we had like family parties, it's so fucking loud. Like, we get so drunk. We start screaming. It's always family, we love each other. Like, you know, it's very supportive. Yeah. So that's what I love about my community, is that like anytime I have something, they always show up and show out for me. And like, I can't ask for better fans. I can't ask for a better family, right? And the fact that like they were so loving and kind to you guys was like, that made my heart really warm, because I was in the dressing room and when I heard Pilo go on and them all start screaming, and like, it just made me so happy, because that's everything you can ask from your special guests, is to like really get them ready. For sure. You know, so every night I always look forward to like their screams, you know, like it was just, they're just the best. Like they really are the best fans. So yeah. Yeah,
no, it was fun. It was a fun time. I definitely wanted to bring up Dallas because that was the one
Dallas show. Was freaking fun.
It was
like,
nuts.
Man, that was crazy. Things move so fucking fast that like you don't have the time to reflect on certain memories with people. Like this is the first time we've sat down and like even talked about anything, right?
For sure.
So I just remember the feeling of getting off the stage for the first time in Dallas and just being like, whoa, that was like such a fucking fun show. Because I've never been to Dallas, and I've never been a lot of parts on the East Coast. Shit, I've never been like really anywhere, you know?
Yeah, so the fact these are a lot of firsts.
Yeah, that made me cry. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna cry, but I definitely feel it right here.
I think that's why it's such a beautiful time, and I'm really appreciative just for you to even like sit down with me, and the fact that we have a rapport from touring together, and I've just seen
We are friends.
We are friends.
We are real friends.
I wanted to ask, you're being pulled, I'm assuming, from all types of directions. So many opportunities coming your way right now. How do you say no?
It's really hard. It's really hard because, again, like being independent, you are constantly grinding because you never know when it's going to end. And I think that's also might not be the best thing mentally, right? And this is just me being super fucking transparent, right? Because I don't think it's a hamster wheel that you want to be on all the time. because then you constantly feel like you are running in circles, right?
Yeah.
The great part is like, I feel like I'm actually getting somewhere, you know, not like I'm in a dream where I'm running in place.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of work, right? And sometimes I put my mental health to the side because I'm afraid that if I don't do an opportunity that I won't get to the next level, or I won't, you know. But I think I've said a lot of yeses in my life to where now I can kind of lay back a little bit and say no to things, because I'm very aware now of like how it's impacting my mental health, and it takes a toll on me. And even saying yes to things I don't really want to do fucks me up, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, why didn't I say no? Right? Why am I saying yes? Why am I trying to please people? Why am I? And I'm like, you know what I mean? It's always fine. It always works out, right?
Yeah.
But there's strength in saying no. And every time I do it, it gets easier.
Yeah.
But in the moment, it never feels easy.
No.
So I don't really have an answer for you. It just is it's a daily thing.
Well, and I asked that more so just because.
You have great skin, by the way. What the hell? Sorry. No, actually, he has great skin.
I think it's the not drinking.
Wow.
I think I attribute it to that.
Wow.
No diss. I know every time I bring up the not drinking thing, it always sounds like it's like from a pompous place,
No,
like,
but
oh,
your
judgy.
Your
No,
gut
I just think it's like
really like reflects what you look like on the outside, you know?
For sure.
So that's why I started juicing, and like it. Obviously, I have a pimple right now, but like for the most part, juicing has helped my skin so much, and just to feel more energetic. So I feel you. I can. But yeah, no, the light was like shining on your head and your cheeks.
I caught a light. Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Everybody, what's your skincare routine? I'm just kidding. I get really distracted.
It's okay. No, we're just doing tangents right now.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
I have a crazy tangent.
Okay.
This is one of the kickers.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Kicker.
What's better?
Okay.
The chicken and rice soup from Country Way?
Fuck!
Or the kimchi tofu soup from Bob Sang's?
Fuck you! Oh, I can't even fucking choose. I can't choose. But I just had Bob Sang's kimchi tofu soup like probably 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
3 weeks ago. And I haven't had chicken and rice soup because they only have it on Sundays. And I'm telling you guys, like every Sunday when I used to live back in the Bay, me and Charlie would go get chicken and rice soup from Country Way. That was something I look forward to every Sunday, because every Saturday we'd go out and get hella drunk, and then we would need something the next morning. So that was my shit. They'd give you like this doggy bag with a bunch of like bread and butter. And it was like the best meal in the world. So like right now, I'm gonna say chicken and rice soup from Country Way.
I love how passionate you are
because
about
I just had kimchi tofu soup.
Okay.
But I am very passionate about kimchi tofu soup. You guys, fuck, I hate that what's today? Thursday?
Today's Thursday.
Okay, I guess we're not gatekeeping on Thursdays. But Bob Sang's, some of the best Korean food in the Bay Area.
Really?
Yes. If you like corn cheese, they have the best corn cheese, and I will put money on that.
I went on Yelp to look at these dishes just to really.
How the fuck did you know? Oh, you just looked at like places around Newark or what?
No, I do my research.
That's crazy. That's like, if I ever said that, that was like between me and Cook or Charlie, and like no one here. So you asked Charlie.
No, not at all. I'm just How does Nardwar get his? You're Thuy. We have to know these things. Okay, now because we're throwing you for a loop and everything like that. I recently moved to a new apartment earlier this year. My apartment number is.
I love.
And 111.
Oh my god.
Was a song of yours.
Yeah.
Do you still see angel numbers like 111?
You know what? That's so crazy that you fuck. I swear, I feel like he's just like.
I told you, I'm running on high frequency these days.
No, I think you are.
You feel it.
I think you are. Yeah, I feel it for sure. So remember how I told you I was like a little bit depressed like the past few days? So releasing a new project, there's so many lows. There's also a lot of highs. but a lot of lows. Because no matter how much work you've put in on the last project, that doesn't matter when you release a new project, because these are new songs that no one has ever heard of. Yeah. So the work never ends. You're like, if you want your song to do well, you have to be willing to put in the work. And this is how I felt with like a lot of my songs on I Hope You See This, right? Where it was like, Figured You Out, for example. I knew that the song was a hit, but a lot of people didn't know that, or they didn't know the song. And so I tried so many times to make it go viral. And then my team was even like, yo, you've made like over 100 videos on this song already, right? Like, maybe give it a rest. Yeah. They didn't say that, but like basically, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But I was like, no, like I know it's gonna happen. It's one of those things, right? Like, I don't know, you do things 99 times, and if you do it 100, then eventually it'll happen. That was kind of like me with my music promoting, is like, you never know when it's gonna happen, right? It could be the first time you do it, or it could be the 1,000th time that you do it, right?
Yeah.
And I've learned that with Girls Like Me Don't Cry, because it's gotten here and here and here, and then all of a sudden, like a year later, right? Then it had the biggest moment ever.
Well, I think just in today's landscape with music, there's no expiration date.
There's no expiration date, yeah. But also that's the scary part, right? Like sometimes it feels like, yeah, just never ending, and releasing something and dropping it, and then like dropping the Warfield, and like there comes a lot of like imposter syndrome. It's scary, and when you invest a lot of time and energy and your own money into things, it's always scary.
For sure.
Right? So I was definitely having those just couple low moments for the past couple days, and it was really hard for me to just like see clearly. And then I started seeing 111 a lot, and I was seeing 111 for a long time when I first started kind of like started promoting the music, because I was just unsure of like where to take things.
You're referring to right for this new EP?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So a couple days ago, and even up to today, I started seeing 111 a lot.
Oh wow.
And every time, I believe in that shit, because I'm all about just like energy and just like believing that everything will work itself out.
Yeah.
And I always felt like luck actually always closely followed me. I don't know why, but I always felt like everything's gonna be fine, you know?
Yeah.
But also I'm gonna make everything fine. I'm not gonna sit around and like pretend that like everything's gonna be good.
But you have faith.
I have faith for sure. So in these low moments of my life in the past couple days, I started seeing 111 again, and I haven't seen it for a really long time.
That's pretty crazy.
Because for a really long time I was seeing like 333, 888, all that, 777. Like it's like, okay, things are finally working out, right?
Yeah.
And then in the moments where I've been really like insecure or like unsure of like where things are going, then I started seeing 111 again. It gave me so much hope to just like remind myself that I'm going down the right path, and that everything is gonna be fine. And then, you know, everything's fine. Like everything's great. So I love that number. Like it really reminds me that everything I'm doing is gonna be okay, and it's the right decision. That's regardless of if it's maybe wrong in someone else's eyes. Like everything I do is always gonna be right. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. I think that's like a beautiful way to just go about life, and just understand that if you have faith in yourself and you can live with it, it's the right choice.
It's the right choice, yeah.
Speaking of energies and just seeing things and kind of the divine alignment, knowing you're where you're supposed to be, what are you manifesting right now?
Well, short term, I feel like manifesting to sell the Warfield out. God, that would be such a dream, because the last time I did a show in the Bay was last year. Was it exactly last year, or was it like, it was last year.
At the Regency.
I
think it was in the fall.
It was definitely in the fall. And I just remember like, whoa, what the fuck, we sold out the Regency? Like, this is a dream, right? And I feel like that's a short-term goal of mine. Long-term goal is to tour again. Like a full North American tour with an album. Like properly, like I want to put a lot of time into it, right?
Are you working on it right now?
I am. I'm just making a bunch of shit that does not go together.
Gotcha.
And then I feel like I'll know.
Do you have an idea when you're making projects? do you have an idea of like a full concept, the title?
After the first song.
After the first song.
The first song I know that's gonna make it.
Really?
Yeah.
And
then I'm like,
it's a good initial brick,
yeah.
and then you're like, okay, then this is how we're gonna build.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like that's how everyone.
No, definitely not. No, I think there's some people that make a ton of music, and then they just look at all of them and they're like, well, these 10 are the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and then I think there's some artists that have a little bit more intent behind what the offering is going to be, and they have a concept, and this is the color palette,
Like I
and
know,
then this is what
like
it's called.
I know what I want to name it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Fire. I'm not gonna ask you for the camera.
No.
So yeah, we'll wait for the rollout.
I definitely want it to be a proper like, just timing, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't want pressure when I'm doing it, because I think like, I feel like I've proving myself. Mm-hmm. But I don't even think I've unlocked nearly like half of my potential, you know?
And
like,
what is that for that long-term potential that you see?
Like I used to just say like, I just want to pay my rent.
And now you're doing that.
And now but I was afraid to dream big and not say like, I want to be a household name, you know?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure if that would ever happen. So I was like, let me just
protect myself.
You know, protect myself and whatever. But I definitely see myself like doing stadiums. Like I see it happening. I see myself like having side businesses, whether it's like makeup or beauty related.
For sure.
So I just have a lot of like goals that I'm not even close to achieving yet. And like the fire within me is like, it's not even its full potential.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's literally a little burning like firewood right now.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting thing about being an artist too, is like at the very beginning, you're just trying so hard to create a spark.
Yeah.
Just a little spark.
I love that analogy. Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
And then now it's like you have a healthy fire that's going.
Yeah.
And then, but you
that's
yourself.
Also scary because you're like, I could just real quick, you know?
That's life though.
It is. But it's also like, God, there's so many ups and downs to being an artist. Like, I always feel like my foot is constantly on the gas.
Yeah.
You know? And there's times where you like have to like put it fully down. There's times where you just want to steady it. And then the times where you feel like you want to take it off, like it's scary, you know, because then you don't want to start back at square one. Yeah. So it's like, how do I get to a point where I can maybe take my foot off the gas a little bit? And I don't know when that'll be, to be honest, but I just know that like where I'm at right now is like, I love that. I feel that same fire within me that I had when like I released my first project, you know, because I'm also very aware that like there's so much work to be done. Like, yeah.
I think it goes back to in the beginning of our conversation about like when we go out in the world, it's like you're somewhere and you're like, oh, this would be a really good idea. And it just, I think never losing that is super important.
For sure. Yeah.
You know?
Just for like feeling like you have a sense of purpose in life, you know?
For sure.
Like I could literally be making bread, you know, but if I'm like, I love it and I'm finding inspiration on how to make the best sourdough bread I could possibly make.
Yeah.
Like I would live a good life, you know?
For sure.
So, but for me, music is my thing and like, it's what feeds my soul. So I'm like, how can I be the best, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like that with wrestling too. I was always like, how do I be the best? Like I love being the underdog. I think being the underdog is the best feeling sometimes because it's like people don't expect things from you, but then you can like, you just prove people wrong.
It makes a bigger splash too when you do.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
2 years ago, you did brick and mortar. A year ago, you did Regency. This year, you just announced that you're doing the Warfield. The progression is insane. Yeah.
It's insane.
So, and just someone being from the same region as you, I just wanted to say, you know, congratulations. We're very proud looking and just seeing everything that's going on.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's so crazy because we did the Warfields when I opened up for Ella. This June.
Summer. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was crazy. Like, even just, you know, we did 40 days on her show, or on her tour, and that was probably the hardest time of my life, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
That was a real run.
It was a challenge that I would never take back, right? But it was also like, that was
taxing,
grueling. I mean, man, I would just like so many nights where I just wanted to go home, and I cried, and I just was like, do people even want me here? Like, you definitely have crazy imposter syndrome, and then you have to remember, like, she chose you to be here, you know, you're supposed to be here for a reason. And then when I finally got back to the Bay to do the Warfield and like back at home, like, that was just, I needed that, like, because we still had more shows after.
Yeah.
So I just needed that to like keep me going to for the remainder of the tour. But I'm just excited to be back and like do the same venue that I did with Ella, and it's just crazy.
No, it's an awesome thing to see. And I think it's cool too. I work with Pilo, who's Filipino, and I see a lot of parallels as far as just what you represent to the people that look like you.
Yeah.
And what you're doing for the future generations. To be able to go, like, there's gonna be some young girl that goes to the Warfield and sees you perform, and they're gonna be like, damn, that's possible.
Yeah, because I never thought it was possible, but like, if anybody can do this shit, it's like, okay, no, if I can do this shit, like, I'm telling you, anybody can do it. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now, because here's the thing. I always felt like, oh, I have to have a parent that like puts me in singing classes or piano classes or whatever. Or I have to have like a long lost uncle that was like
in the industry,
a
music
or
lawyer,
whatever, right? Or I went on like a bunch of shows, or like, you know, I was popping ever since I was born, you know? Or I just have music theory in my family where everybody just like is so musically talented. I had parents who were immigrants from Vietnam that the only thing that was musical in our family was karaoke.
Yeah.
That was it. But the fact that somebody like me, who didn't start songwriting until after college, who doesn't even know anything about music theory, but has musical intuition, somebody who just loves music, but knows nothing about it, right? Like in terms of like chords and like things like that.
Just music theory and just all that.
And all that, right?
Yeah.
Or like didn't grow up playing piano, didn't grow up doing vocal classes or anything like that. Like the odds were stacked against me.
For sure.
You know, like it's crazy that somebody like me is doing this right now. So I'm telling you, if I can do this shit, you can do this shit, because if you have a dream, if you are talented and you work really, really hard and you just believe in yourself and you just keep doing it, it's going to be, you're going to, like, it's so corny. Sometimes I say it.
No,
it's
such like cliche kind of vibes and corny,
so cliche.
But it's so much truth in it. And just if you have that mental fortitude, and you just have that vision for yourself, you can make it happen.
Yeah. Emphasis on the music is good.
Yes.
You know? Because I think a lot of times, too, people are like, I do this every day and I promote my music, and like, it's just not there yet, you know?
Yeah.
But it's not like it's not going to happen for you, but you have to be self-aware. You have to surround yourself with people who are doing things that you look up to, right? Because then you're who you surround yourself with. So it's just, there's so many factors to it. But for somebody who has never been a recording artist until after college, anybody can do it. Yeah. Anybody can do it. If this is what you want to do and you're a good singer and you're willing to learn, you know? Yeah. And I feel like I've always been a sponge with life. And I've also just loved to prove myself wrong, in a sense. The back of my head being like, bitch, go to medical school. Go work in the medical fields. Go do this because your cousin did it, and it's the route that you can easily look to and follow. But I wanted to prove her wrong, you know? Like, no, I'm going to listen to my 8-year-old self. Yeah. When I was in the back house, listening to Britney Spears over and over and over, and envision myself being the pop star on these stages, right? Like, I'm going to listen to her, and I'm going to just, like, go for it. So
I think more people need to listen to their 8-year-old self.
I think so, too, right? Then we have people that are, like, doctors, and then, like, all of a sudden want to be a skateboarder. But, like, do it. Do it. If that's what you want to do and that's what you really love. Because even through working all these medical jobs, the only thing that I would quit. Like, dude, I feel so bad because I used to be such a good worker. Like, I was, like, anything that I did, I always, like, went 120% into. So my jobs, like, I feel like my bosses really loved me because I was such a sponge and was willing to work really hard, and just I was a really good worker, right? Yeah. So I felt like after like 2 years was my like point.
You were just like, oh, no,
Every job I had, 1 to 2 years, I was like, I'm bored. Like I've reached the peak of what I can do with the education that I have, right? And I just don't wish to do it any longer. So then I'd move offices or move like different, like I was in dental, I was in the dental field. Then I moved to like dermatology. Then I did optometry. And then
you did all of them.
Yes, and I shadowed a PA in Stanford. Like I was like, I would get so bored of these things because I felt like I learned everything that I could within what my expertise was. And I would just get bored. But throughout that, like music was the only thing that stayed consistent. Like something that always like constantly challenged me and made me feel like excited, you know? So I feel like listen to that. Like whether it's like you love crocheting, like if you just, that's something you think about all day and night, maybe that's something you need to do. I don't know. Like, I just think that people really should listen to their inner child and stop living for like society's norms, you know? Because I think a lot of times too, people think that like you can't make a living off this, but you really can. You can make a living doing anything these days.
That's the crazy part. I kind of wanted to speak about, you have a song called Insecurities. And I feel as if when listening to your entire catalog, that there's this string that goes through each of these songs, that there's strength and vulnerability. I think that's a very common theme in a lot of your music.
I think so too. Yeah. I think, again, coming from like an Asian household, we never really talked about our feelings a lot. And we always were like, even when I cried, stop crying, go wash your face, you know? Like we weren't allowed to like show those emotions. And I don't think it was even anything like ill intent with my parents. It's more so that's how they grew up, right? Like
that was
survival.
Necessity for them.
That was like, you don't cry when shit is going bad or you don't have food on the table. Like you have to like really be strong. So I think I'm just trying to like heal my trauma through music and just heal like and just talk about things that I feel like will help people because I'm helping myself through it too. But yeah, it's just one of those things you never really experienced growing up as a child, to like feel confident talking about your emotions with your parents and also having them reciprocate it back to you. Because my parents, not until recently, have told me they're proud of me, you know? Or like my parents growing up didn't really say I love you a lot, but now they say it a lot and it sometimes feels weird, you know? But it's kind of like you have to get through these uncomfortable stages to grow. So I think that's like, it's cool. Like, it's cool that like I'm kind of going through it, but my parents are also, I don't know. I don't think I'm not taking credit and saying I'm like helping them through that, but I think
you guys are on this journey together.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they see how comfortable I am or I have become. And I think that it's allowed them to be more free. Like, just like, I don't know. I think now seeing their kids have jobs and like do things, they're like, okay, yes, we immigrated here and we did the right thing. It was a really hard choice. But also now they can kind of like
take a
ease
breath
up a little bit, you know? So I think it's cool that, yeah, my parents are also kind of being more emotional with their kids and just like kissing us on the head and like all those things, you know? So I think I've just always found a lot of strength, like you said, in talking about like sad shit. It just helps me get through my hard days, you know? So I love that song, by the way, Insecurities. It's like, it's so real. Like no matter where you are in your life, especially as a woman, like I'm just looking at the mirror and I hate myself, you know? Like why? But it's just like you have those days where you just don't love yourself.
Everyone has those days, and I think when listening to your music, especially the new EP, Don't Miss Me Too Much, it's still in there. It's very, it's still in there that you have these insecurities and you have these vulnerable moments. But I do feel like when listening to it, you're at a place where you're like finding comfort. In being uncomfortable. Yeah,
I always say that too. I feel like anything in life, you just have to be uncomfortable for a little bit. And then you grow from it. Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate your time today.
Thanks.
I think this was fun.
This was so fun.
It was cool.
Free Bread with Calais featuring Thuy. He got me flowers too, by the way.
That are the colorway of the EP.
You know what? The attention to detail is impeccable. If I had to rate this, I'd say 10 out of 10. And I don't know, like, I feel like your thing is just going to take off. Like, you're just going to get even better and better and better.
Thank
and
you.
Yeah, if this is your second one?
It's my second one. I didn't get Raj flowers.
You know what? Oh, you didn't get him poppies?
Oh.
That would have been good. Maybe like a
That was actually a missed opportunity on my part. Damn, the poppies would have been so crazy.
Where do you get poppies, though?
They're actually illegal to pick.
Oh.
They're the state flower.
Okay. Oh, there are state flower?
Yeah.
You know what? I look so stupid right now. I didn't know that California had a state flower.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I thought we were just like the grizzly bears. Are we the bears?
We are the grizzly bear, but there are no grizzly bears that exist in California anymore because they went extinct. So they only exist in Alaska and British Columbia.
Wow. Well, shout out to Raj. California Poppy 3. I'm on there. Is it 3? You're right? 3.
Yeah. You are on there. You're on a great song.
Summer's Round Around the Corner. I love that song. One of my favorite songs.
He told me that he sent you 2 songs. And and that the other one was a little more turnt, and he was like a little bit more juiced to have that one.
Oh yeah,
but then
I was touring at the time actually when he sent me that.
Oh really?
And I was in Ludwig, Kentucky.
Oh,
Ludwig?
In Kentucky. Gotcha.
Yeah, somewhere in Kentucky. It was like really like in the most random spot.
Yeah.
What did he text me? It was like I remember texting him something. It was so fucking funny. Maybe it's not that funny, but what did he say? Hold on. Oh, he said I'm happy. He sent me this the one. And I said, it's fire, but don't take Summers Around the Corner away from me.
Oh, that's funny.
That one is it for me, and it has such a timeless feel. So, it wasn't that funny. But at the time, it was funny because I was like, don't take that away. Don't take that shit away.
This is gonna be a moment.
I'm going to be on that. Because, again, it was one of those songs that just made me feel so emotional. And even, like, recently I was driving to my appointment somewhere, and I was just not in the best mood.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to put it on, and then I just started crying. Sometimes I like to do that to myself.
I was watching a bunch of interviews, and without fail, every interview, and then I started crying.
Yeah, it's funny because, like, it's so crazy. It's like once I opened up the floodgates.
No, you have a channel. You channel emotion very well.
Thank you.
I think that's a really good strength.
But I just like once I started talking about like crying and finding strength, and then it was just like I just do it all the time now, and now I feel like my threshold for me to cry now is a lot, you know?
Yeah.
Which I don't know.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like the tolerance you build over time.
Yeah, it's like calluses.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't really make me cry anymore. But damn, that really made me emotional. So
I was gonna end this on this note.
Uh-huh.
I play tennis. You play pickleball.
Yep. Are you gonna play with us?
We're gonna play after this.
Oh my god, you guys. So fun fact, I'm an athlete, and I'm really bad at pickleball. But here's the thing. I want to do like a charity event with my friends for like and do it like a pickleball thing.
Let's do it.
So it's going to happen. I just don't know when yet, but I'm trying to get everybody into it because it's so much fun. It's the only thing that brings me joy these days.
Anytime I talk to my tennis homies about pickleball.
Oh, there's a feud.
Beef. It's beef.
No, like literally when I tell you the park that I go to, I can't tell you guys what it is because there's been people who recognize me there actually.
Oh, I can imagine.
Like, don't say anything, you know, because I'm trying to go there and look ugly and like not care, you know. But this park that we go to, there was like a feud with the tennis players for like months. And we had to like have people sign petitions to like turn the court.
Ceasefire.
And then there were like tennis players who came in. They started serving towards us. And then we had ABC News come and talk about the situation. Like it was crazy.
It'd be super funny if I just turned on the news and I just see
tweets.
I was like,
no, I was pissed. I was like, why didn't I go that day? If I had gone, that would have been so funny because like, you know,
no, it would have been hella funny.
It would have been so funny, but like the only reason why I knew that they went because Cook follows the Facebook page for it. There's so much drama, and it's funny because like there's a lot of old people that play pickleball.
Yeah.
But no mercy.
No, they're going.
No mercy. No, I will smash on them. I don't care. Like, oh, You have a bad knee? Sorry. I'm going over there where I know you're not going to get it. But most times they get it. Like, they're fast.
They're crafty. When you get that age, you have to be crafty. Dude, you have to be,
They get it hard, too. Like, they're great. They're actually really, really good. And I am nowhere as good as them. But when I get a chance to smack it, I don't care.
Well, I can't wait to play and see this competitive nature. And I really appreciate you having us in your home. And thank you so much.
Course.
I really appreciate it. And just keep going. Keep making the Bay proud. We're rooting for you.
Yeah, get your tickets now, guys. At the Warfield.
Link in the description. Click.
Can you put it in your bio for like a week?
I got you.
Just kidding. Love you guys. Thank you. Hey guys, this is Thuy, and you're watching Free Bread. Mwah.